In this speedrunning guide, I will give you all the knowledge you need to know in order to get world record times in Liberty Falls. I personally have been loving speedrunning this game so far, and it seems a lot of you guys have as well, so I really hope this guide helps out a lot of you. First, let's talk about your loadout. The rifle that I run in all of my games is the XM4, and my class setup is as follows. You can also use the new 3-round burst attachment instead of FMJ, but that's really just going to be a personal preference. During this run, you will also be buying the GS45s off the wall, so make sure that you have these attachments on, with the most important being the akimbo attachment. Then, go and follow what I do to set the GS45s as a zombie build, so when you buy the pistol off the wall, they will still be akimbo. You will want to make sure that you have Ether Shroud, decoys, and a combat axe in your loadout. If you do not have one of these things permanently unlocked, I would recommend that you start with unlocking Ether Shroud first, and then unlock the combat axe, because Ether Shroud is one of the last things that you'll ever unlock. So, now that your loadout is set up, let's move on to augments. The first two augments you want to make sure you have on is for Ether Shroud, and these will be the Burst Dash augment and the Extra Charge augment, as these will be vital to saving time during the run. For Stamina, make sure that you have equipped Dasher and Hotfoot. For PhD, use either Dr. Ram or PhD Slider, and then make sure you have on Tribologist. And the last augment is for Napalm Burst, and this one is less important than the others, but still useful. I would recommend having on Big Game and Contact Burn. Now, I don't know if this works on controller, but on keyboard and mouse, in order to get fast PhD slides, you'll want to go to your keyboard and mouse settings. You will then want to make sure you're on keybinds and scroll down to Advanced Movement keybinds. You will then want to find Slide, and you'll want to set a dedicated slide button. I have it as my mouse side button. You'll then want to go back to Movement. Under Movement, you'll want to find Sprint Assist, and you want to make sure that's turned to On. And now we are ready to load into our first match of Liberty Falls. As soon as you load in, you'll immediately want to run over to the Rampage Inducer and activate it. From there, you'll want to hop down this ledge and shoot at this water tower. Wait, so what just happened there? What I actually just did was shoot a secret double points power-up. On the screen now is a zoomed-in version of exactly where you need to shoot in order to hit this double points. It is hard to shoot, I'll give you that. It is extremely hard to shoot. It will take you a lot of practice to do. But look back at this video, maybe take a snipping tool of this picture. This is exactly where you need to shoot every time. It doesn't move. You will get better at it. So now that you have your double points, you really just need to get through the rounds. So end round 1, head up to the motel, get those free kills while you have double points active, check these car and ground locations for the predetermined zombies, and then once you end the round, go and grab your GS45s from the wall. I'd like to now explain the most important things in this run: points and scrap. By the time you end round 7, you are going to need 5,500 points and 1,250 scrap. That is why I am now going to introduce you what to do if you get different double points. On the screen now is a little illustration I drew up explaining what to do depending on what round you get your double points drop. In the case of round 1 or round 2, if you get a double points, you'll want to pick it up as late as possible, meaning that normally you'll get a double points at the end of a round or like towards the middle of the round. And so if you get it on the end of round 1, you'll want to pick it up as late as you can. So wait until it's about to disappear and then pick it up. Same with round 2. That way you can get the next round of zombies with that double points and then most of the round following that. That'll maximize the amount of points that you can get. Now, if you get a round 3 double points, I consider this the perfect double points, but there is some risk to it, because you'll be guaranteed, if you pick it up late again, to get the entirety of round 4 with that double points, and then if you don't get a bug round on round 5, you'll also get almost all of that as well, and I would use a decoy during this time in order to guarantee that you can get faster kills. And then finally, if you get a double points on round 4 or round 5, I would recommend resetting, because if you get it at the end of round 4, sure, you can kill all round 5 zombies with it, but then you'll be guaranteed to get a bug round on 6 and won't be able to get almost any points from that. Or you get the double points on round 5, and then you get whatever's left of 5, and then you get a vermin round after that, and so you can get almost no points from that. So 4 and 5 are most likely resets. And then there is the rare chance that you get a double points later in your run, such as round 6 or round 7 if you have a round 5 bug. And in that situation, it's really play it by ear. Sometimes you get enough points, sometimes you don't. It's rare that I get enough points, but it is definitely possible. So feel free to play those out. It works out sometimes. So now that you understand that, you're going to want to just play out your rounds, look for your double points, make sure you're hitting the vending machine anytime that you can, and make sure you're picking up every piece of scrap that you can. You need 1,250 by the time you get to the end of round 7, so make sure you have it. I can say scrap is the number one thing I reset for. It is horrible. It is the worst thing ever created. You will reset trying to get it. If you are playing for a world record run where you need to be as fast as you can, there will be many resets for scrap. So become its friend. The next thing to think about is, when is your vermin round going to be? So at the end of round 4, I want you to always, unless you get a perfect double points on round 3, which happens in my game, but any other time at the end of round 4, you want to leave and head to the bowling alley to kill in the bowling alley. Those spawns are better generally. You can get stamina points, you can shoot the little valve box, and you can get the pool table points. And then you can also be ready to leave on your vermin round easier. But if you leave at the end of round 4, the second you end it, you open the door. If you hear that it is a vermin round, instead of staying in the bowling alley, you are going to go up to the PhD flopper machine. So on the screen now is an illustration of a red line on the staircase itself. When the bugs spawn, you need to be past this red line in order to get good vermin spawns. If you are behind this line, then the vermin are going to spawn in a farther window. They're going to spawn back in the bowling alley still, and you're going to waste a lot of time waiting for them to crawl to you. But if you are above this red line, even just an inch, you will get good spawns where it's in the 2 windows in front of you and the 1 window down the stairs and to the left, as you see me shooting here. So now that you've done that, you'll just want to make sure you head to the pack punch room. You'll want to turn on the SDG and pack punch your Mustang and Sally's. From there, head back outside, and you'll want to check all around the graveyard for Dennis Riffle, the groundskeeper. And he should appear right when you get there if you're fast enough with your PhD slides. But if he does manage to disappear and teleport before you can find him, just keep looking around for about the next minute. Around 1 in 10 games I'll have where he just doesn't appear and I have to reset, but it is quite rare, so you should be okay. But just end round as quick as you can and pick up all the salvage you can. At this point, you will want your 1,250 scrap, and you want to pick up this toolshed part and craft your mangler cannon. If you do not have that much scrap in this time, you'll have to reset. Then pick up the water valve for the jet gun as well, and keep following this route until you get here and use your mangler cannon to open up the Radio Shack room. You'll want to search all of the dig spots and shoot your second to last mangler cannon shot as well. When you open that door I just opened, you'll want to make sure you have enough points. If you don't, then you'll have to reset, and that's why you need to be so stingy with points at the start of the run. Once you get to the water valve, you'll want to shoot your final mangler cannon shot, and as soon as you see 0 under your ammo for the mangler cannon, you want to start holding interact on the water valve. If you do that successfully, that will mean that you are now able to pull out your Mustang and Sally's during this step and be able to shoot zombies to defend yourself. That way you don't have to get off an ether shroud. You can just go through it the entire time and waste no time. So again, you shoot your mangler cannon shot. Whenever you see nothing in the ammo, you then hold interact, and that'll allow you to pull your weapons out. You'll then want to pick up the part that drops, and you'll want to buy the stamina perk while you knife to cancel the animation. Then jump and use your ether shroud, which will allow you to skip climbing up that staircase, and then finally build your jet gun. And the next part of this run is really just going to be following my route. So make sure you chain those PhD slides, and you'll want to pick up this first part for the LTG. Then pick up the second part through the floor right here. I like to jiggle around a little bit. It seems to help me. I would throw a combat axe if you have one and make you run faster with the stamina augment. And then you'll want to pick up this last part. Then pull out your Mustang and Sally's. That way, while you're on this rope, you can shoot the mangler head on top of the church, which will give you a bunch of points later on during the run. And then finally, build the LTG and pick it up. From now on, you're going to need to be quick because you're going to place this LTG down and you're going to need to be extremely quick. That way it does not fail because you have a few things you need to do. Number 1, you're going to immediately run down here and you're going to suck up this Etherella statue. And if you threw a combat axe, pick it back up. That way you have another one. You'll then want to throw your combat axe at another zombie to make you run faster, and you want to buy a napalm burst. In my run, I almost lose the run because the arsenal machine glitched out. If this happens, just back up enough and it'll reset, but you want to buy Napalm Burst. Then, now that you shot the Mangler cannon, you can pick up a few points and make sure you drag this Aetherella into the church. Make sure it's inside the church because you'll use that for the boss fight. It'll make the boss fight 1,000 times easier than it would normally be. Then you need to go back and defend the LTG, and sometimes you'll get unlucky and it will have just already died at this point and there's nothing you can do about it. It's truly random. Sometimes they just run faster, sometimes they just spawn quicker. If a better way gets found to do this, I will leave it in the comments or the description, but currently it is kind of a coin toss and it's just kind of up to the game on what's going to happen. When the time gets low and you feel comfortable that it won't get destroyed, head back to the church and pick up the Aether Canister. That way you can suck up the LTG once it's done. You want to have it by the time it spawns so you don't waste any time. You'll then want to melt through the Mangler or Abomination that spawns. Having a Mangler first is faster, but if you're not going for a world record, it's not a huge deal the order that you get them. You want to place it down and activate it and just quickly kill them, suck it up. Make sure you pick up the max ammo because having ammo during this is extremely important. And keep throwing your combat axes at the zombies or vermin to make sure that you get that speed boost with the stamina augment. This is why the most important reason why you need that augment is because you move so slowly with that and it'll really help. Pick up the Strauss counter and you're going to head back to pick up the LTG from the little spot that it's down. You'll then want to head over to this projector. You want to climb up this little edge right here and correctly do the projector depending on whatever color it is. If there's a zombie in front of you right now, you'll want to use your combat axe and always make sure you pick up your combat axes to use during the Aether Canister step. You'll then want to do this projector and shoot this full power and pick it up. Go on top of the bus, grab this Aetherella, and you'll want to book it to the last LTG. You want to be as quick as you can because this is just a time save on how fast you can get there. Place it in, and then you'll want to head back to this pile of cars, and you want to Aether Shroud over it and head to the top of the roof. Once you get up there, shoot through this window to shoot the nuke that is sitting there. This will stop the zombies from killing your LTG. And you'll then want to do the last projector while sucking up this Aetherella statue. If you get in my game where you get the last one, you want to make sure that you're doing both of them at the same time because otherwise your LTG will fail if you're too slow. Suck up these 4 Aetherella statues in this room. And then you'll want to head to defend the LTG at this exact moment. Once you feel that your LTG is just about finished, you'll want to go and suck up your final Aetherella statue on the motel sign. And you'll want to get back to the LTG. That way, as soon as your Abomination or Mangler spawns, you can immediately start damaging it. In my case, it's an Abomination. And if it's an Abomination, you want to only focus on breaking their heads. Once you break all 3 heads, it will die instantly. So I try to break 2 immediately, grab my Aether Canister, and then as it charges at me, start the trap. That way I can immediately kill it as soon as it enters the trap. Pick up your Aether Canister, hold out your knife again, and this is where you're going to use all the combat axes that you have. Aether Shroud over this set of cars again, and unfortunately I did not get a spawn here. Sometimes you'll get a spawn, that way you can keep your combat axe momentum. But as soon as you see a zombie, just use your combat axes on it. You don't need to worry about picking them up again because this is the last time you will use them. Get back to the church as fast as you can and place in the Aether Canister into the machine and start the boss fight. Now that you're in the boss fight, there's a few things you need to think about it. 1, not dying. Do not die. It loses a lot of time, even if you pick yourself up, and it makes it much harder. 2, use your jet gun at first. For the first 10 zombie kills, just use your jet gun until the first Mangler spawns. The way that you do this boss fight is a little confusing still. It's not necessarily understood, but the best theory we have so far is kill the Manglers as quickly as you can. The second they spawn in, kill them as quickly as you can. So you see here, the second I see them, I ditch everything else that I'd been doing, and I just focus on killing the Mangler. So, yep, I kill the Mangler, and then immediately I start killing zombies again. Just using my Mustang and Sally's, using the jet gun will be okay as well. And then as soon as the next Mangler spawns, when the second Mangler spawns, I like to use my jet gun blast. That'll get the Mangler around half health, and it'll kill every zombie that's in my view distance. And because although you do need to kill Manglers as quickly as you can, there's also a set number of zombies you need to kill. So getting those both done at the same time is very important, but I find that killing the Mangler is more important to ending the phase. So then the final Mangler spawns, I use my Mustang and Sally's again, and then if you do that correctly and use your jet gun at the right time, you'll then have your entire jet gun charge back to finish sweeping up the rest of these zombies that spawn in. And then after you kill the last Mangler, this is the part that becomes inconsistent in this boss fight, the end of the first phase. So a bunch of zombies are going to spawn in, but it's just going to be very slow. And you want to kill them as quickly as you can, but how fast the phase actually ends is never seems to be actually able to tell when that's going to happen. So just kill as many as you can, eventually get your max armor, and just hope it's quick. But it varies by around like 5 or 6 seconds depending on how fast you kill the Manglers and kill the zombies. Once you get to the second phase, you have about 30 seconds of doing really nothing. Just kill zombies with your jet gun. If you run out of ammo, you should have enough to pack a punch to get all your ammo back. But you'll just want to keep killing until you see your Mangler spawn, your HVT Mangler. When that happens, immediately run over to your Etherella statue and suck it up. That way you become Etherella. Once you become Etherella, you'll want to immediately take down your HVT Mangler. The quickest way to do that is to shake your mouse from left to right extremely quickly. The quicker you do it, the quicker it will kill, and I cannot exaggerate how much that's true. When I first started, I didn't realize that how quickly you move it actually matters, but the quicker you go, the quicker it will die. So immediately take that out, and then focus on killing the rest of the zombies. Once you kill it, there's just a certain amount of zombies you need to kill before it'll end the phase, so just make sure you do it as quickly as you can. And then finally, once you're on the last phase of the boss fight, just keep killing zombies with Etherella, turn in circles, that way you just kill them the second they spawn, because there is a number that you need to kill here before it ends. We don't really know, we don't really understand it, but if you just turn in circles and kill zombies as you see them, eventually it'll work out for you. There should be a Mangler that spawns at some point. Take him out as soon as you can as well. And then, finally, your Abomination will spawn. He'll either spawn at the front of the room by the doorway to the church, or he'll spawn up by the Pack-a-Punch machine. It doesn't really matter where he spawns, but just make sure you keep continuously jumping and moving your mouse left and right as fast as you can. Once again, the quicker you move it left and right, the quicker the Abomination will die. And if you do it quick enough, he should die in literally like 5 seconds. As soon as you kill the Abomination, you're basically done. You'll most likely run out of Etherella at this point, but just keep trying to kill as many zombies as you can. And the biggest thing is, when you run out of Etherella and you have like 5 more zombies to kill, make sure you do not use the blast on your jet gun. Just make sure you suck them. Suck the zombies instead of blast, because if you blast more times than not, you will not end them all in one blast, and then you'll have to use your Mustang and Sally's to end it and waste time. So just use the suck. It doesn't lose you time. Just use the suck and you will complete the Liberty Falls Easter egg. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. It was definitely fun to make. It was my first video style like this. I've never really done this before. So if you enjoyed, please subscribe, and maybe I'll release some more tutorials soon.